Entrepreneurs. My name is Ellie, and we are back again at Live Hip Hop Daily Studios each and every Thursday at 7 with the crew Creative Visions. Woohoo! And today we are here with Prophet, the producer, like the producer. This man has songs that have premiered in space, okay? Like we're talking out of this world, next level, never heard of this, seen this before. And so I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. I literally texted him yesterday and was like, hey, you coming to the studio? And he was like, yes. So I appreciate that. Appreciate the time. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to talk to the bossies and then we'll get into our interview. So, hey, bossies, it's the end of the year. What's up? How have you guys been? This has been a long time. Okay. This is my first year as a full-blown entrepreneur, and let me tell you, I've been through every emotion that I've ever had in my entire life. But I'm also super grateful for you guys. On my own channel, I had 28,000 views. Okay, that's crazy. Do you know how many views I had last year? 200. Okay, 200, period. And that was with like 100 different pieces of content that I put together. So this was huge. So I really want to thank you guys. I'm throwing a end of the year party at Fam Fam. We're doing karaoke on December 31st. So if y'all want to come and chill and have a really good time, hit me up, DMs. The link is in my bio. Y'all know what it is. Come hang out with me. And then I also wanted to tell you guys that this is the last live Thursday, okay? Until next month, we're changing the set. We're doing this whole new thing. So I want you guys to go ahead and follow at entrepreneur.ish.podcast right now so that you guys can watch the transition. I am all about showing you guys how it looks from start to finish. And I want you guys to really see what we have going on. And so I don't know. I thank you guys. Thank you to Creative Visions and Live Hip Hop Daily. Like, I love you guys. I would not be sitting here without you guys. Oh. I'm not going to cry. We're not going to do this today. I'm going to cry after we get off the camera, okay? But no, like for real, this is dream come true. So we're going to finish my dream. We're going to start the episode. So, hi, how are you?
Peace.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So first, let's just start off because I want everybody to know what you have done this year. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And you have made a milestone with Lazarus, and you guys have premiered a song on a space station with NASA. Mm-hmm. How the fuck? Like, that is really the question. Where does this come from? Where does this idea, like, how the fuck does this happen? Because this is huge. This is huge. And me being, like, a sci-fi kid and really, like, you know, kind of being like an alt black girl, this is cool. Like, this is something I never really thought that both of my loves would come together, science and hip hop. So how did this happen?
So it's interesting that it happened this year because it actually started last year.
Really?
Grammys was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Lazarus lives and works in Vegas as
Okay.
a doctor. He's a real medical doctor.
Wow.
As well as a hip hop artist.
Wow.
Wu-Tang affiliate and all of that. So I'm in Vegas for the Grammys because I won 2 Grammys last year.
Let them know.
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
no, we're telling stories so that y'all can get to know this man. He's very accomplished. Like, you're going to find that out as we keep going.
So I was in Vegas, and then the day after the Grammys, Lazarus called me like, hey man, let's go to the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I got something I gotta talk to you about. I was like, okay, what's up? So he gets there and he's like, man, NASA reached out to me to do this song for this space mission that they have to like cure diabetes, and they need a certain frequency of a song to play at the time that the astronaut is working on something, right? So I was like, man, I actually think I got the right track for you.
Really? You already had it?
It's like
in the back pocket?
So, I did this track like 2 months before that at my studio at the time. I was living in Detroit. Detroit just special. There's something about the, you know what I'm saying?
I've never been.
Like the spirit as far as musicians go. I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay.
But the spirit of that Midwestern spirit with like musicianship and all of that, something there. Like Dilla would come home to Detroit, because I'm connected to Dilla too. And he would come home to Detroit to produce a lot, and then go back to LA. You know, so it's something, you know what I'm saying, in the
city,
air.
it's a vibe.
It really is. There's still a ton of talent in Detroit. Like, but I'm in Detroit. I make this track, and I don't know like why I'm making this certain track. It's just,
okay, you're just feeling it.
I'm just feeling it. It's like very celestial sounding. But I mixed the hip hop with it. You know, the feeling of hip hop, the drums of hip hop. You heard it.
Yeah,
so it's
beautiful.
Right. So I appreciate that.
Yo, it's beautiful. I wish we could play music, YouTube and copyrights and stuff like that, but no, it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. It's catchy, and also it's something that I would play for my kid if they had like a science project, so they can understand how we get people outside of our atmosphere. And then for him to really kind of talk about, y'all are looking up and I'm looking down, like that was a crazy moment, because I was like, how many of us feel like that sometimes? Like when we're really in our highest selves, in our highest moment, we'd be like, I'm looking down at all of this, and it just is.
Right.
And I just gotta be a part of this thing that just is.
Right.
So I loved it. So y'all listen to Pale Blue Dot. I had to find it on YouTube, and you can let us know where else it'll be. But
so it's on all platforms.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Okay. 2.2 million views, by the way. Lots of talent.
Right. So I play him the track, right? He's like listening for a second, and he's like, "Yo, this is it." And he calls NASA right from the studio.
Wow.
And he sends it to one engineer at NASA, and then they get on this like a Zoom call with like 36 engineers. They analyzing it, the frequency of it, and all of that.
Wow.
And they all in agreement, like, yeah, this is the track. This is the one. So
what?
I was like, wow, okay.
And you just had this 2 months before, and then all of a sudden it's just automatically approved?
Right.
Wow.
And so he starts working on the lyrics, and he's like calling me in the middle of the night different times all the time, like, what you think of this? What you think of that? Like, because he's like super intentional with the lyrics.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
But you're an intentional person too, so I feel like that kind of goes together.
Right. But it was like, when he finally got all the lyrics perfect, he was like, yo, this, I was like, that's it. It's perfect.
Wow.
Don't touch it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then he laid it. We got it mixed, mastered. It was ready last year. We thought this was going to happen last year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then why did it take until April of this year?
So because the launch wasn't until April of this year.
Got you.
But that's the beautiful thing, is this is the 50th year. So it was supposed to happen this year. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, that's the way to bring in the 50th year, I think, to me, is to do something monumental in hip-hop.
So what I've noticed from doing my research, you do a lot of things that are very intentional. Like, you produced for Tony Jones. You guys saw her. You guys know that she's like the first affirmation music artist, first hip hop song to premiere in space. Like, how do you stay innovative like this, and why? And that's why is really what I want to know.
I don't share my energy with too many people, and I maintain a high frequency.
Okay, that's it. That's it. How do you maintain your high frequency? Because I've heard a lot of people say that it's hard. Life hits you. People come in and out of your life that aren't that great. You know, you're still new to maintaining your energy. Like, how do you make sure that you keep all of that to the right people?
Meditate a whole lot.
Okay.
I do something called a walking meditation.
Okay.
Which is like, throughout the day, I'm staying in a headspace of like, I see this reality as whatever I create it to be, versus what is placed in front of me. I mean, I know we all have to deal with things, right? But it's about how you react to those things, and
100%.
not really what those things are, what they present themselves. That's just, you know, whatever they present to you is one thing, but how you react to it is really going to make, that's really going to make the reality alter or become something different.
So, I guess I'm thinking practically. because I talk about this all the time. Not last week, earlier this month, we talked about reframing and always keeping your mind on having success even when it does not look like it.
Right.
So when your world is falling apart in the 3D, how do you stay in the 4D?
It takes a lot of practice, I think.
Okay.
It takes a whole lot, and I just happen to have had a whole lot of practice in my life from the time of a little kid. You know what I'm saying? I happen to have a whole lot of falling apart. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of practice, but it's really the belief in your own worthiness, I think. I think that's a lot of it, is understanding that you already enough, you already are worthy. It's your birthright to have all of these things. Your reality and your desires are already yours. It's already there. It's just crystallizing and waiting on it to crystallize, or allowing it to crystallize by the energy that you hold.
What do you do when you're waiting? Because for me, that's the hardest part. I can
Work.
ask, I can visualize, I can see it, and then I'm like, I know it's mine, but now I gotta wait.
Work.
And you said work. That was not what I wanted to do. Okay, tell me. Okay,
like
so I gotta work.
I made the track 2 months before.
Yeah. And you're like, if I was not working, I wouldn't have had the thing that I needed.
Because if he would have asked me right then to make a track
and you didn't have
for
nothing.
NASA, I would have got in my own way trying to do that. Like, what should this sound like? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I was working. I was already in motion, so it was.
So it just already came.
It was already there. Like I said, it's already there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're really right. Yeah.
When you understand it, it's that NASA moment was already there.
From 2 months ago.
I just had to keep working there and then crystallize it. Wait on it to crystallize.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to sit on that. I'm going to have to meditate on that while I'm doing my break. Because it's always, for me, it's the waiting. Because you just don't know when. So for me, I'd be like, okay, a month in, I'd be like, well, damn, what was the point of me making this thing, right? And I only had to wait 1 more month for me to really see it happen. Right. So, and you're talking about just work regardless. I think that is probably the biggest lesson that I had to learn. Because a lot of times, I started this podcast before and quit it because I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see. So then I finally was like, okay, let me just do it. And just do it. Just because I like it. Just because I want to do it. It had nothing to do with results. And then that was how things started moving. So.
Right. Even with Tony Jones, producing her newest album that we're working on now, a lot of the tracks is stuff that I had already had.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Or I may be updating, but like, when she heard them, she's blown away. She's like, when did you make this? She's asking me questions like, when did you make this? I'm like, 2 years ago.
Okay. So it really is just keep working. Like, honestly, everything that you're doing will have a purpose at some time. You just won't know a time.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually more comforting than I thought it would be. Because I think sometimes we always think, oh, what's the point in doing this, right? But you're saying the point is eventually there'll be a point. Like, eventually you'll see why you all of a sudden woke up out your sleep and was like, I got to do this. So
some things that I did, some rules that I followed too.
Okay.
A book called The Creation Frequency by Mike Murphy. I think everybody should read that.
Follow
those rules. You know what I'm saying? It's certain intentional rules that the universe has to respond to that I think people can't discount. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like you can kind of game the universe? Because I've heard a lot of people like really have been following this thing where they're trying to get something from the universe, so they act a certain way every time, and then they're starting to realize that doesn't work. So do you feel like you can game it, or do you feel like if you stick and do this path, it'll work every time? It doesn't matter if you're.
I feel like if you stick, it's gonna work every time.
Got you.
I don't think it's a failing thing. I really don't.
Okay.
I've seen it happen too often.
Okay.
With too many people. That's in my immediate circle. You know what I'm saying? it's about maintaining your frequency.
Got you. And then I like what you said. You said you're seeing it in your circle. So you're like, it's not even just me. I'm watching other people use this tactics and things like that.
My mentor, Malik Youssef, he taught me a lot of this.
So this is where I wanted to start, because you've accomplished so much, and we only have an hour. So I don't even know if we can get to everything that you accomplished. But I do want to know, how do you become the person that you're sitting here today? From, like, when was the first thing that sparked your idea, I'm going to be a producer, to now having artists, premiering with NASA, and all this stuff?
I mean, I started fiddling around with keys when I was 12. Fell in love with hip hop, and then
What's the song that was like, this is it?
LL Cool J, Round the Way Girl.
I was just talking to my mom about that today.
That's
I went to a, when I was younger, I think I was like 20 something. I went to a corporate event or something like that. And my boss was black. That's the first time I had a black boss, and I was in the tech company. So this is huge for me. I was like, there's a black girl. It's not just me, right? And we went to dinner, and she started rapping this song, and I told her I didn't know it. She stopped everything. She rapped me the whole entire song, word for word. And then she was like, go learn some history about yourself. So for you to say that's the song, y'all got to learn this song. So if y'all are 20 years old and y'all never heard Round the Way Girl, go look it up and go learn every single word, because obviously this is the start of your hip-hop journey.
That's what it is. I recorded it on, like, because back then we had to record it on, like, the Maxell tapes. You don't even know what that is. The cassette tape.
I came around with the CDs and the playlist from LimeWire.
I recorded it, a whole 60-minute tape of just that song off the radio.
Wow.
So I could just play it back to back.
Wow.
Yeah, and so from there, I just started writing rhymes, and then messing with keys and playing around. Self-taught musician, you know what I'm saying? And then it just evolved over time. Kept working with different artists that was, unknown artists just locally in Detroit and Chicago.
Is that how you met Kanye? Because, like,
no,
how did that happen?
I met Kanye through Malik Youssef.
Okay.
So Malik Youssef and my cousin, my big cousin, are very good friends. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so I used to beg my cousin, like, yo, man, you gotta introduce me.
Please,
to
we're in the
Malik.
same industry.
So I was sending Malik beats for years. I mean, years.
Wow.
Never got a response, like 4 years.
Wow.
And then out of nowhere, Malik is like, I'm coming to Detroit. Pick me up from the airport.
Wow.
So I'm like, cool, it's 2017.
Wow.
The 444 album is out. Jay-Z on tour. Malik's on tour with him. Pick him up from the airport. We go straight to Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. Jay-Z's there. Vic Mensa. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Malik is like performing on stage with Vic Mensa, the opening act for Jay-Z, and all that. And from that point on, that night, after he get off the stage, we go back to the studio at my house. And he's like he got so much energy, he ready to work.
He's like, let's work.
I'm like, what?
Did we just work? I just saw you work.
And from that point on, boom.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up.
Y'all slide in these DMs. Do it for 4 years. Do it till work.
Yeah.
So was that, for that moment, because I feel like that was a pivotal moment for you, right? How did you maintain your energy after that? Because I know a lot of times some people have big moments and then it slip because it's like, it's so big, I can't. How did you keep it?
That definitely happened.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it.
A whole lot of crazy things that happened after that.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it was the woman in my life. You know what I mean? She helped me learn a lot about myself.
Wow.
She forced me to.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
A good partner will. They'll make you go, ooh, I gotta check myself.
Yeah.
If we gonna keep this going, I gotta do better.
Right. She didn't, she wasn't standing for all the
old
bullshit.
stuff. Yeah, that she used to do. Yeah, she was like, I'm not up here.
Nah. So she helped me evolve, you know what I mean? And then one day, so after that, you know, it ain't like we were just locked in after that. He wasn't. We worked on a few things, but we wasn't locked in. And then one day he texted me, 2 years later, 2019.
Wow.
He's like, you ready? He just texted me like, you ready? You know what I'm saying? I was like,
let me tell you how my stomach would have fell to the floor. Like, I don't know.
Right.
What do you mean?
He was like, you ready? He's like, I'm coming to Detroit for 30 days. And, you know what I'm saying, we're going to work on production. We're going to work on a documentary. We're going to work on a few things. And I was like, bet. He came to Detroit and, like, man, elevated my production to a whole different level. Like,
what you learned? What was the first thing you learned?
I don't want to share too much of this.
No, you can't share all your secrets, but something that you would love to tell people.
Just the biggest thing I think I learned was that, like, the instrument, that you are the instrument.
Okay. So go to the beat of your own heart. Move how you feel like.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's all just sounds. It's no notes.
Wow.
That was the biggest thing I learned.
Wow. So everybody in the studios, when like you have this song that's taking over wrestling history, like it's the biggest song out there right now.
Yeah.
How do you know when you've made a hit? How do you know when it's like, this is gonna go off? This is for NASA. This is the biggest thing in wrestling. When do you know?
You don't. You don't
wow.
know that.
Okay.
Anybody that said they know, I mean, you feel good about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you don't know. I don't think anybody knows for sure. Like, oh, this is a hit. You're just working.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You're just working.
Okay.
Hard. Because the record with Swerve, The Big Pressure, that song was originally something I did for Rihanna.
Wow. Okay. And then you're like, pivot.
Yeah, got it. Flash Garments, the artist, shout out to Flash. I was in LA working with Kanye on Donda 2 at the time.
Wow.
And Flash was like, man, I got this wrestler. He need a track, bro. He need an intro. I was at the time, I had a studio, and my man Crunkadelic, shout out to Crunkadelic. He was like, yo, you can have this studio in LA. Crunk just gave me a studio.
What?
So, studio.
What?
And it was fire.
We gotta elevate our group. Yeah. Let's elevate the group.
So he like, man. So Swerve came through, and he was like describing to me like what he wanted it to feel like, because all this music is just feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, once again, now here we go again. I think I got something.
He's like, I've been working. Listen to this.
I've been working. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Okay, stay prepared. Like, anybody can ask you any question, you got something in your back pocket. I like that. I like that.
I played it, and he was like, he was cool. He was still unsure about it, but Flash, he was like, this it,
like,
right here.
I love this.
And so, boom, again, same thing. Like,
it's just like we just recorded it and put it out.
Recorded it. And I put it out, gave it to him. I thought something of it. I was like, this is a cool opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to do something in wrestling. I ain't know. But right now, it's going crazy.
I went through and I hit the song, and I went through and I looked at all the videos that people are making. When I say crowds go dumb for this song, like, I never would have. I'm not a wrestling girl, so I had no idea. But this, like, how does it feel? Because I know you were like, look, one day I was standing there, I had to go pick somebody up from the airport, and then all of a sudden I got people screaming my songs and listening to it all over the place. How does it feel to watch people enjoy what you made?
It feels amazing.
Wow.
It's magic. This is magic. This is 100% magic.
Wow.
It feels unbelievable. See little babies. Parents got their babies doing a little dance to it. Like, yo, this is crazy.
Like this thing I just made up.
It's fire though. It feels good to see people enjoying it, and not, especially after COVID. You know what I'm saying? And everybody being in a weird place in COVID and depressed and all that.
Yeah.
It's good to see people just enjoying something on a wide scale while they're at work.
Mm-hmm.
People at Amazon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dancing to your stuff.
I'm like, yo, this is
in the
crazy.
car. Like, I never thought about how much music touches you.
Yeah.
But music can get you through moments. I know Tony was talking about how she had people playing her music through surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
How does that feel? Like, where you're like, my beats, my thoughts, my moods, my vibes. Like you said, you're the instrument. Me being the instrument is helping people through surgery. How does that feel? And like, how do you move responsibly with that? That's what I want to know.
It feels like real love, man. It feels good. It feels pure. I definitely don't work with everybody.
Gotcha.
That's like I said, once again, I protect my energy. I don't work with every hip hop artist, or I don't jump on every opportunity, because I don't want to be responsible for somebody getting killed to my song. Like, I feel like it's a certain energy that comes along when you make certain music. Like, it's like music is like the soundtrack to life, right?
Yeah.
So if you decide to go kill somebody,
you had a soundtrack for that.
You got the soundtrack for that now.
Wow.
I'm halfway responsible for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't think people think that deep into
No,
it. I know a lot of people say,
paid.
"Oh, I'm not your role model. I'm not your like. I'm just living my life. Don't worry about it." But for you, you feel responsible.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a responsibility. I think music is the only perfect art form.
Explain that.
So, like, if you're painting a picture, somebody cannot like the picture and all that. But music is mathematically perfect. So,
I guess, if NASA can analyze your fucking song, then
right. It's mathematically perfect.
That's what it is.
It's mathematically perfect.
Wow.
You can put a person in a trance with a melody.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Certain drums and all of that. You can put people in a trance. You can literally kill somebody. Like, they can be scientifically dead. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No.
Scientific death.
No,
At a
let's
certain
talk about
frequency. Yeah, a certain low frequency. You're scientifically dead, I think it's at 20 hertz or something like that. If your body has a frequency that they can measure. And if you are at that low frequency, you're not even alive for real. Like, so I think certain, it's a responsibility to
We just don't think about it. We think it's just a song. So, okay, I guess for me, green flags and red flags was working for people, because we talk about bossies here all the time. I have green flags for bossies, like who I will work with, who I won't. What are your green flags? What's one green flag and one red flag for working with somebody?
Green flag is if the music is intended to, like, make people feel good.
Okay.
That's a super green flag for me.
Okay.
Red flag is if you don't know who you are.
Okay. I like that one. Because what I have noticed, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be 3,000% sure of yourself and where you're going and how you're going to get there approximately, right? Like, you might not know exactly the path, but you know where you're going. When you say that they have to know who they are, how do you know when somebody doesn't?
Because oftentimes they'll, like, so an artist will have a song, and then if I'm with them, they'll say, well, I want to make this certain kind of music, but that's not the music you've been making, or like nothing in who you are is, you know what I'm saying, reflective of that.
Gotcha.
And then a week later, you come out with another song that's not reflective of where you saying you want, like, it's two tops.
Where you're like, I want to elevate and I want to be peaceful and I want to do this, but then I'm hearing that you just released a song that's the opposite of that. I got you.
And I'm looking at you, and you literally, like, doing everything the opposite of who you are
trying to be
in real life.
Okay.
So in real life, you may be a vegan, and then you go and talk about killing somebody on a song. It's like a vegan don't even eat meat.
Right. So then,
you don't even kill an animal. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's
I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to operate in that confusion.
I got you. Yeah, confusion is not. It's something I have learned to stay away from. People who say, "Oh, I'm not sure," I've been like, "Okay, you're not sure." I really take it at that, and I do not push it anymore, because I've noticed if you try to push somebody to be something that they're not ready to be at, it's disastrous for you.
Right.
I don't know why, but it'll push back on the person who wanted it for that person. Like, if you want more for a person than they want themselves, you end up being hurt. And I don't know why that happens. Has that happened to you before, or do you happen to know why?
I definitely don't know.
No? Because I was like, I'm such a hopeful spirit. So I'd be seeing like the potential in people, and I'm like, you could be so big. Why don't you do this? Here's some things that you could do. And they go,
But the thing about that is that's the potential that you see.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily real.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not real. It's just something I made
something
up
that
in my head.
made up. That you like, this person could be like Aretha Franklin. But they may not.
Yeah.
Really be, they can sing, but maybe they only can sing in the shower and for real, and that's it. If they don't see it for themselves, then that's
it.
That's really what it is. It's like,
I don't know. I just I always do that, and I think in doing so, when I decided, hey, I'm going to help people, right, become entrepreneurs, I realized some people aren't even ready for that. They might say that they are, but when you're watching them, they're like, you cannot lead a company right now. I cannot imagine you leading a company right now.
It takes a lot
oh
of
my goodness.
constant
Can we talk about
studying.
that? This is my first year, and you've been doing this for a long time. What are some things that you've learned being an entrepreneur in your space?
I mean, that you got to constantly relearn everything all the time. Like it's a constant learning process. But I'm a natural learner. I like that. I enjoy learning. So if you're not somebody who enjoys learning, I think entrepreneurship may not be for you.
Really
you know what I'm saying?
There's gonna be an obstacle every day. You gotta go figure it out. You have to go learn. What I learned in my first year of business was that shit will go wrong. Even if you plan it 100% down, it's still gonna fuck up. So that you always have to be able to think on your feet and relax in thinking on your feet, and not get crazy in the fact that you have to think on your feet now. I think that took me a really long time to learn.
But you got it.
Yeah, it took a minute though. And so here's the reason why I started the show, is because I used to quit all the time. All the time, I quit everything. I'd start something, and if it got a little hard or if I hit an obstacle, I would stop. So when I started doing this, because I just like doing it, and really, at some point I was like, I don't even care if anybody watches this or gives a fuck. This is what I want to do. I started realizing the person you have to become to run a business. And you can learn marketing, you can learn all this other stuff, but you have to be a different person than you were when you first started in order for it to work. So how do you hold yourself to the standard that you need to get where you want to go? Because what I've learned, if you skip a habit, if you miss a boundary, like if you shake on a boundary, if you really don't live the way you know that you should, things start to crumble. How do you handle that? How do you keep that lifestyle?
Check your ego.
Okay. Check the ego.
Most of that stuff is all ego.
Got you.
Check your ego. I ain't gonna say kill it, because I think your ego is there to protect you in some degree. But you gotta check it. You gotta keep them in check. Can't let it run wild, man.
How do you keep yours in check? What's some things
just being able to be aware of it, of when it's presenting itself in the wrong way.
Got you.
When you consciously aware when your ego is presenting itself in a wrong way, and you be like, no, you can just have a quick conversation with yourself, like,
look, this ain't it.
Let me fall back to this and just listen for a minute.
So I think so I know for me, and sometimes I'll say affirmations, and I don't fully believe the affirmation I say. Like if I'm like,
oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big thing. So then that's when I know there's something I need to talk to myself about. Because if you're gonna say that this is where you want your life to go and you don't believe it internally, it's never gonna get there. So that's when I check my ego. Is when I'm like, no, didn't you write down that you are capable of doing this? So
and it is.
What is all this talk in the back of your head about you're not capable?
Self-doubt.
Yeah.
You gotta kill the self-doubt. All of that can die. 100%.
Okay. That's gotta go.
Because a lot of times the self-doubt, man, is like you creating a story that's not even real.
Yes.
It's so weird.
And it's like, why would I tell myself such a terrible story? Like I say I love myself, right? So then why am I telling myself I can't do something, or I'm not capable, or no one's gonna listen? Like these things that just go on in your head over and over again.
Right.
When were you able to kill your self-doubt? Like when was the day when you were like, okay, I'm not putting up with this anymore?
Man, when I got around certain people and I realized like they really ain't better than me for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like, I've been meeting people and I'm like, you are a person. I thought you were like this thing, right? You're a person. Shit. Okay, I'm a person.
Right.
I can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I
That
realized
was your moment.
like,
Got you.
Like, dang, okay, so I've been telling myself this story this whole time, but I'm over here going crazy for real. You know what I'm saying?
You worked on Donda and Donda too.
But I don't know. I think that's the main thing is when you just like kind of look at some of your peers that you really look up to. If you're able to get in a space with them for real and see the process, and then you like, whoa, okay. I'm really capable, far more than capable of doing this. You know what I'm saying? But that's through a lot of practice. Again, like just working. You know what I'm saying? When you constantly working, things become second nature to you, and you get more confident from the work.
Got you.
Know what I'm saying?
Cool. Okay. Got you. I've heard that before, and it's definitely true, because when I first started this show, I was very nervous. Now there's no more nerves because I've done it 60 times.
Yeah.
So it's like it becomes something that now, okay, I can elevate myself, because now it's not scary anymore. Yeah. For you, we were talking about some of your mentors. You said Yusef. You told me off camera that you worked with Dick Gregory before you passed. Yeah. You've had crazy mentors. Can you talk about that?
Another mentor who's crazy is to me the greatest producer of all of them, to me, of our time. His name is Paul Reiser.
Okay.
From Motown.
Okay.
Produced Papa Was a Rolling Stone at 17.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him his flowers. He really gave Motown the sound that it had, because he's a classically trained trombone player, right?
Wow.
So he likes classical music. He implemented the classical, like those whimsical sounds and just all of that classical feeling into. That's why you hear those intros in the Motown.
I was about to say, you've seen all the memes with people talking about like how the song doesn't actually start. It's a few moments before it actually gets into it, but it's theatrical. And I never even thought about that.
He did Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which is one of my favorite songs in general. Yeah. So like that's one of my music mentors.
So what's something you learned from him when you were like, wow?
He's a purist at music.
Okay.
And I learned like to a lot when I'm producing for like say a Tony Jones or anybody. I learned to allow people like to do what they do and try to incorporate that with what you do, like without being overbearing or to be more accepting of what people
let them flow and you flow too. Gotcha.
Because you got to he was creating music with some of the greatest musicians in history.
Hands down.
Right? He was writing those notes though, right? And he handed it to them, but he would let them play it how they played it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
He
Like
would
if
be
they
like,
if they
play
put
it like this.
He got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like if they put their own spin on it, he let it happen.
Right.
Got you.
So.
Okay, and then let's talk about Dick Gregory, because I didn't know who he was until college. I think was when I found out, and then he passed away like maybe 3 years after that. So I didn't really get a long time with knowing this man as an activist, as just a brilliant mind who was unafraid to speak the truth.
Yeah.
How did that moment and meeting him and working under him kind of affect you?
Working with Dick, it shifted my whole mentality like completely. It set me on a whole different path of just understanding and evaluating life. He was obviously a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. He was hilarious.
Yes.
And we met when I was working on the Cotton Picking Truth. If you haven't seen that, go Google the Cotton Picking Truth. It's on Amazon Prime. Make sure you watch it. But working on that film really shifted everything in my understanding of what we perceive to be reality.
Got you. Okay, because it's re-explaining American history, right?
Yes.
From the point of view of what they call the losers, right? Because winners always write history. So
yeah.
I can't wait to see it. What's something that you feel like the audience will take away from this movie? What did you hope that they take away from your work in this movie?
I was hoping that, that people weren't just angry when they watched the film, but that they felt convicted to move into action on behalf of our ancestors. To be responsible with this history, this knowledge, wisdom, and to make a movement for reparations. And now we start to see reparations happening in different parts of the country, like in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah.
With Robin Ward, I'm in communication with her.
Wow.
I'm working on different things. So yeah, it's actually happening. And I think, we should be responsible in dealing with that.
Yeah. I think we forget that there was a struggle to be here. I know I do. I don't think about it. But it's not until I talk to somebody older than me where I start to realize all of my privileges and all of the things that I just got to do. It was so normal for me to do that they had to fight so hard for us to do it. For you, being a part of something so big, what pushed you to be a part of this project, and then what pushes you to keep it alive?
May Louise Miller. So May Louise Miller, it was the main focus of the film. It was originally only supposed to be about her. She was a former slave. Her family was enslaved into the 1960s.
Wow.
And her story, which is the story of Alice, if anybody has seen that movie with Common. And
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's May's story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See? Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Keep going.
Yeah. So, her story is the main thing that pushes me to keep it going, keep it alive, and then just understanding that I feel like, we have a responsibility to bring reparations to, crystallize it, to make it a real thing because it's old.
It's you see it in other cultures. It's like every other culture has admitted wrongdoing to another culture except for ours, and we live here every day and deal with the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
And then we're told to forget about it. Like, I'm noticing, like, my nieces might not even learn the same stuff that I learned.
Yeah, they won't.
So, no, like,
If
they'll,
we're not responsible,
yeah, they'll be
yeah.
like, yeah, so, you know, there was this thing called segregation before.
Yeah.
There was this thing called slavery, but don't think about it. And then you just said 1960 was her family's enslavement. And that was the first time we were free. And, like, think about it. My mom was born in 63.
The thing about the film is it kind of
Crazy.
dispels all of the arguments that, say, Republicans or different people have had that said it was so long ago, because we found people still on the plantation. So the other half of the film is called Still on the Plantation. It's the cotton picking truth, still on the plantation.
Wow.
We found people still on plantations in Mississippi,
Wow.
in Webb, Mississippi, in Marks, Mississippi. And as a result of the film, it wasn't until 2013 that the state of Mississippi actually ratified the 13th Amendment. So,
Wow. You were, here's the thing that I also wanted to ask you, and I said I was going to ask you this before we had to go. You've been a part of a lot of history.
yeah.
People still don't know. I know everything about Sexy Red and Krishan's Rock and her boyfriend, right? But I don't know anything about these stories that could actually change our lives. I don't know anything about songs being produced and premiered in space. Like, how does that feel to be a part of big moments and not get exposure for it?
Doesn't
care?
feel great. I care about more so like the fact that people have been programmed to not care about these things.
Okay.
That's more so, it's the programming more so that I'm like, yo, this is terrible programming.
Okay, so for a lot of us, we don't know when we're being programmed, right? That's probably the biggest problem. How could you explain in the best way for us to realize when it's maybe we should look at this from another angle?
What's the question? I'm confused.
So it's okay. So you're saying that we're being programmed. A lot of people don't know when they're being programmed. What are some signs of?
If you talk about something, look on your phone and then it pops up.
Okay. That's programming. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. That happens all the time.
Happens all the time. Right?
I go to Staples and then I got fucking Staples coupons all over the place. I'm like, I just went there once.
Right. Or if you have a conversation about anything and then you start to see advertisements for things similar to those things. The phone is listening, the TV is watching. Like, these are real things. It's not like conspiracy.
Yeah, it's real.
Right. So the programming is, you know, it's fueled by economics. They want to tap into your money. They want you to spend, you know what I'm saying? They want you to be a consumer. They want you to...
I'm an analyst. That's what I do. I give companies the data that they need to go invade your life.
Right.
I remember I was 22 and I was like I answered phones. And I told my mom I didn't want to answer phones anymore. So she was like, girl, get in tech. Go do some data analysts, right? Some data analytics. And so we went to this meeting where they were trying to tell us what you could do with data analytics. They told us that they could tell whether or not you're getting divorced by your credit card statements. They can tell you if you're gonna have a baby. They can tell you before you're even pregnant. They can tell you by the way you move, what websites, what things you look up, and they have all this knowledge. Like, they literally pay millions of dollars to get all this knowledge from Google, from all these other websites. Every time you hit accept cookies, they know exactly where you click and why. And so when they told me, yeah, we'll look at the receipts to see if he's doing things like buying new things like watches, cars, things like that, if he's getting his hair done, if a man is starting to do things that are like, what is it? Like body, cosmetic. That's what I was trying to say. That's when they know that a man's going to get divorced. And then they start sending him all kinds of like things for lawyers and new homes and like move and like all these different products and things that you could use. Like, shave better and do this, and here's something for your new car that you just bought, and this is what ladies like. And they just start sending it to you. And what kind of hit me with you was you were saying, I don't do things that I know might lead to something negative, right? Sometimes when you're the creator of things, you don't necessarily get to determine where it goes, right? And what happens. How do you try to navigate that, where you're like, okay, I did create something, I want it to be positive. How do you do what you can in your position to keep it positive? That's really a question.
A lot of producers do things like send out beats. I gotta really know you to send you something.
Wow. Okay.
I don't do that.
Okay.
We can go to the studio together, talk, get a feel for each other. Let me see what you're feeling like, see what your energy's like. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I don't know. You can come to the Black Garden Studio.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's talk about the studio. I love it. I love a guest who knows how to promo, because it makes my job easier. So let's talk about where they can find you if they if they want to be a part of this. Because I actually know an artist that is intentionally trying to shift the consciousness of people.
It's happening.
And I think it's a lot more artists that are like, look, I'm not trying to do that music. I'm trying to do my music, right? So how does somebody who's trying to live outside of the mainstream come find you and audition or whatever it is that they got to do to get your
Connect
attention?
with me on IG. Probably that's the best way.
Okay.
At Profit the Producer. It's PROFIT. The producer, all spelled normally. Or go to blackgardenstudio.com. It's one of the only true Atmos studios, which is 3-dimensional sound.
Wow.
In Atlanta, and we just built it. It's beautiful, and it's in the heart of the city. So
I was like, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Tony Jones just did the whole affirmations, New Blue Sun affirmations.
Is her album done? Are you guys still working on it?
So she redid Andre 3000's album.
Okay.
New Blue Sun affirmations. Check that out. It's beautiful.
Okay.
She did that in that studio though.
Wow.
We did it. We just went 10 hours. She just went straight through. Because she said that when she heard his album, it touched her in such a way the lyrics just flew up, just poured out.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And he wasn't even going to do that because he was like, I don't even like rap anymore. And then I'm so glad he did that, because now hip hop is so many things. I think it's evolved into something we don't even really know anymore. And so it's really fun to see people go, hey, let's not do that. Let's go back to the point of it.
The fact that his went #1 though, I think that's evident of the shift, and people are trying to ignore it because they don't know what to do.
They don't know anything.
They don't know how to tap into that.
No one said anything about it. Do you know how many people were mad? There was like, it's just a whole bunch of flutes. I was like, it's actually beautiful.
It's the vibration that people are really on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you tapped into the people, then you would know that. But the industry ain't really tapped into the people. They out of touch.
So what do you do to, I guess, kind of rebel against what's going on?
Just keep working.
Okay. I like that. I like you. Like, no, you were like, look, do what you do, and things will change, regardless of.
He rises, right?
Yeah. I like that. That's. I want that on a T-shirt. I really do. I want that on a T-shirt. He rises, because sometimes I think we get very much into ourselves and we forget that what we do is affecting others. I think that was something that I learned this year. I had a little girl tell me that she loves my show. When you have a little girl tell you she loves your show, it kind of changes how you think about how you want to do your show.
Yeah.
Can't be crazy no more. You can't be ratchet, because then you're like, wait a minute, somebody's gonna watch this and want to emulate this and be like me. How, I know you say you protect your energy, but like, what advice would you give to somebody who is starting to feel their influence?
Figure out who you are.
Okay.
And if you don't know who you are, ask yourself who you're not.
Okay.
Ask yourself, am I this person?
Yes
I'm
or
not
no.
this person, like,
I got you.
and then you'll know who you are. And that's the most important thing in life, I think, is to know who you are, and then be that.
And be that. Okay. It's because of social media. I think a lot of people are afraid of that. But I've also seen that go so well for the people who actually truly are themselves. People really, really tap into that because it's something that they could never do or never thought of themselves doing. So I really appreciate that advice. Last thing, because we talked about almost. No, we hit all the lists. Okay, so I did pretty well.
You did a
Okay,
great job.
there we go.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
Thank you so much. So I talk about Bosties. Bosties is boss besties.
Okay.
There would be no show if it was not for them. I mean, like, for real. Who are your people that keep you going, and what do you do for them?
People that keep me going. It's my girl. My stepkids.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it.
That's it? Oh my gosh, I love that. No, I love that because, okay, there's this narrative that none of us need anybody, right? Like, there's just this narrative. I'm single. I'm going to be single forever. That's fine. Everything's okay. And I feel like people are like that when they're hurt. And then I love to watch people, like, actually be in love and supported because that's what they say is, like, the biggest thing about them. What for you was, like, green flag, love this lady, want her to be in my life?
Accountability.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She's able to be accountable and to hold me accountable.
I was about to say she got you straight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
And honesty, being honest with each other.
And then what do you do to support her? Because I know being a bossy is two ways. I know me, I would not surround myself with people who weren't ambitious. So if I'm ambitious and you're ambitious, if you're giving me something, I got to give it back. What do you do?
Listening, we discuss what each of us need, you know what I'm saying, and we support whatever those needs are, you know what I'm saying, but
Gotcha.
we very intentional about everything, we communicate, write out, like, what our weekly goals are, etc.
Oh, wow.
Like, we really, like, intentional about, like,
I like that.
getting
Was
to it.
something that you guys just came up with one day? Like, hey, let's just sit down and do this weekly thing? Because I think a lot of people want to do stuff like that, but they feel like, oh, I'm going to ask my spouse to have a corporate meeting with me. Like, I'm doing too much.
Yeah, no, she was like, look, we growing apart.
Okay, she was like, look, come back.
What we gonna do?
I like that. Be honest, y'all. Do not be afraid to tell people,
work.
look, we need a weekly meeting, okay?
Being in a relationship is work, man.
Yeah, especially
work.
when you're ambitious because,
Yeah.
like you said, you're working because you know that you need to work in order to
And I need space.
get places.
Like, I'm very hard to be with. I'm not easy to be with at all. Like, I know that.
You said that out loud. We can start admitting that too.
I need a lot of space. Like, yeah.
I feel you.
So
For you to stay in your
Right.
wavelength, to stay on,
Right.
stay you.
I
I
could be
feel
like,
you.
yo, I'm going to Costa Rica tomorrow. And she got to be like, okay.
Okay.
And the same thing with her. You know what I'm
difficult.
saying? It's like,
Yeah.
cool. But I respect that.
I was about to say the cancer in me. That cool would have been with one of them evil smile emojis. That cool would have been a real silent
That ain't love, though.
smile thing. That's
Love
true.
is freedom.
That's true. And see, I was saying that. What I learned is that every time I did anything like that, anytime I was ever like, oh, don't go there, or like felt too possessive, I was doing myself a disservice. Because now I got to take care of this person, right? This person had their way of dealing with themselves. And now I done disrupted that. And now I got to deal with it. Now I got to be that thing for them to help move. So then I realized, don't do that. Let them get over their own shit in the way that they get over their stuff. And then you just be there to support and help.
Yeah.
And that's all that they're going to expect from you. And that's all that you expect from them. And then everything's happy.
It's got to be that way. Like, real love is freedom.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. I think like I said, because if it feels like everybody can have a podcast, everybody can have an opinion, everybody can have a moment. There's so much tension between everyone.
Yeah.
Like literally everyone. You can go to any podcast today and they're screaming at the top of their lungs, this is the worst type of person to talk to or be with, or
right.
you know.
And you're just not allowing people to be people.
Themselves.
You know, you're not allowing people to evolve and make mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or what is a mistake? Are there any mistakes for real? Like, it's just.
I think people should have boundaries, and then that's it. That's all you can do. You set your own boundaries. Right. You tell that person you have boundaries, right. And you let them know if you cross these are the consequences. That's all you can do in your life. You cannot control shit else, but letting people know this is who I am and where I am and what I'll put up with.
Right.
So.
And if you can both be honest with that, and it can be beautiful if you can both be honest.
So another one of my friends, her name is Too Dope. She's been on the show quite a few times. She was talking about how when she makes a song, it's like a form of love. They're creating like a child. They're creating something together. So it's a very intimate process. How do you stay professional in these intimate moments with these people and things like that? Because I know a lot of people cannot separate work from desire or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. How do you stay in this headspace of we are here to make music, not?
Because every time I have not been professional, I lost a bunch of money. It's just I don't want to lose no more bread. I'm cool.
Okay. I like that. I like that. It's like,
no
for real though? You lose money being a professional.
It's not going to work, man. It's just not going to work.
I love that.
You got to stay professional. If you stay professional, then you don't have to worry about emotions and irrational things happening.
So, okay, I like that because I saw this girl tweet, and it went completely viral, and it was, stop making business meetings dates. Like, and this was something that I know a lot of women go through. I want to know from a male's perspective, how do you make a woman comfortable to know that like she can be safe with you and it's not all the shit going on behind it? Because I think, especially in the music industry, I know a lot of women want to get into it. When they do, all the producers are trying to do stuff with them, or everybody in the room is like, there's all these expectations outside of what they came there to do.
Right.
How do you make them feel comfortable? Like, hey, I'm literally here to create.
Something I'm not really trying to. Women do tell me they feel comfortable like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as. Maybe it's because I'm not trying to. I'm really not trying to do that.
Okay.
You know
I'm saying no. Let the guys know. let them know.
It's just that I'm really not. I'm not on that for real. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's naturally gonna happen if you really ain't about that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you feel comfortable if I'm really not?
Yeah.
If I'm not slaying little slick shit here, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have a reason to not be comfortable. So.
Okay, I like that. I think it's just this happens. Especially a lot of people move to Atlanta to get on, right? Either in movies, music, whatever it is. And these things happen during these moments that look like opportunities that aren't actually opportunities. And so that's why I asked, because I know so many girls who have been like, well, I went for an audition, but I didn't really like how that audition went. Or I know for me, people who ask me to do podcasts and just in their home, it's a red flag for me. Because I'm like, I just can't. I can't. Right. I don't know you. Right. Yeah. I don't want to be in this spot by myself. Like, also, I always think about it. I'm like, y'all, if I was on like a true crime podcast, what do I say for myself? Like, why was I at this house?
Right. You gotta answer that question.
Right, exactly. So sometimes
like,
it's
yeah, I went to his house for
an opportunity. Right, and they're gonna be like, "Girl, don't you have one of those where you had to go there?"
Man, yes.
So no, that's why I always I try to let people know. Look, here's green flags. Like, look for people who are really honestly trying to work for you. Red flags are the slick comments, the meet me in this private place, these. I also tell girls, like, look out for these industry parties. Like, you might think it's fun, but that back room is a real back room. There's something going on back there that you do not want to open the door to.
I don't even get invited. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that. I don't get invited.
I like that. No, because that's the other thing. People feel like they have to take every opportunity. And this is my last question. How do you know what opportunities to take and which ones not to take? That's my last question. Because that's really what all those backroom things are. It's like, oh, I feel like this is an opportunity, but there's probably something that they couldn't notice.
I think a lot of times it's just a gift of discernment for me at this point. It's just, you know, really being in tune with myself and knowing what the red flags are once again. Because they're always present.
Yeah.
They always present themselves as some form. You can choose to ignore them.
Yeah.
Or not, but they're going to present themselves.
Yeah. I always tell, they say your stomach knows. It's just scientific. If your stomach drops, that's it. Like, if at any moment you're having a conversation, you start to feel queasy, there's a moment of, step back, go the other way, call friends, like reevaluate what you were doing there. So
you can tell, like when you have synchronicities with people and things like that, you know you're on the right track. I feel like those are like green flag signals. You know what I'm saying? But when it's like not really clicking, or if you trying and it ain't happening, or weird reasons why it's not happening, like, that don't really make sense, or like you're trying to force it, and it's like, it just ain't supposed to happen.
Okay. All right, any last words of advice for our bossies who are watching? Give them the camera. No.
Just question, if you I think well, number one, question everything, but man, the most important thing is to know yourself. And I think all religions talk about that, like knowing thyself. Like, if you really know yourself, trust yourself, and love yourself, you're bound to be successful.
And put in the work. That's it.
Oh yeah, you gotta put in the work. that's automatic.
I think that's the part everybody wants to skip. So that's why I'm glad you said it. It's like sometimes you're like, oh, I just want to put out one episode and have 100,000 views. That's not necessarily how things go.
Not necessarily. Could happen though.
Could, but like you said, most of the time it's probably because you've been putting in work before that first episode, or you already had this concept 2 years ago. You finally honed it, and then that's why it went off so well. It's never just, I just thought about this one day and it just came up. There's something behind that. It
took you 3 years to become an overnight celebrity. It happens all the time.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so you guys, this is the last episode of the year. That's it. Woohoo! I'm going on vacation. Y'all, I'm literally scheduling posts, and y'all will not see me until the new year. But I appreciate you being here and celebrating with us. This was a big experience for me. I feel like we should talk more about what positive things, and I feel like you are a positive entrepreneur, and I appreciate you for doing that, because entrepreneurship has bad names. A lot of people have tainted that word, made it seem evil, and to know that that's not true, I feel like it's going to help a lot of people start. So I appreciate you being here.
Also, I don't think that there's one way to be an entrepreneur either. You know what I'm saying? If you got a job, I'm not a person that downplays you having a job. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I pay my money I pay my bills how I pay my bills.
I'm not a person who downplays you. If you have a job, that's great, but it's about the intention of what you're doing while you have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have intentions to be an entrepreneur, you got to maintain those intentions, you know what I mean, and invest in yourself while having that job. That's
I've seen people go from having a job to using that money to produce a movie.
Absolutely.
To they're fine now.
All
You
the
know
time.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like you said, you do with what you have. That's really it. That's all you got. I just found that out. I was like, you have what you have, and that's all you got, and you just got to deal with it. And as soon as you let that go, you can move forward. So thank you guys for watching this episode. We will see you guys on January 4th. That's when we're coming back. I have a whole lot of surprises for you. Do not forget to order your Bossy Annual Planner, which is out now. There's a link in my bio. So, yeah, I did that this year. It's my last check mark of 2023. So I want to help you guys plan your year, delegate, push through 2024. So check that out, and we'll see you guys next time.